Howdy, everybody. Richard Zane in for David Nuno today on the TexAgs Rewind, which is presented by T-Mobile.
You're
A hard 6. That's what I am, according to Billy Liucci. Thanks, T-Mobile, for sponsoring the Rewind. Thanks for Billy Liucci for the subtle put-downs. Today on the show, we had Olin Buchanan. He gave us an early look at both the LSU Tigers and the Arkansas Razorbacks. We played a piece of a stacked exclusive interview that Billy Liucci did with Texas A&M defensive back Antonio Johnson. We had Aaron Torres of Fox Sports Radio and the Aaron Torres podcast take us around college football because conference realignment is going nuts yet again. And then we had a full hour of Billy Liucci. We talked some movies. We did some 3-packs on Texas A&M football. We talked about hair and we talked about other things. So check it out. This is the TexAgs Rewind. Way too early opponent preview of the LSU Tigers. Obviously, the big storyline there is Brian Kelly's first year in Baton Rouge. They finished last season 6-7. They lost in the what bowl game did they lose to? The Texas Bowl. They should have never gone to a bowl game if they had ruled a fumble correctly. But
that's true.
How big of an improvement have the Tigers made at the head coaching
at the head coaching position? I think it's significant because you don't have to like him, and you don't have to like his lame Southern accent, all those things. But the bottom line is Brian Kelly's a good football coach, and what he can do that Ed Orgeron couldn't is when there's a problem, he can X and O and figure it out. And Ed Orgeron was good as a face of your program, a voice of your program, and a recruiter, but he wasn't a good X's and O's guy. And so when he didn't have good coordinators and they began to have problems, he didn't know how to fix it. Brian Kelly is a good coach. He can, if they have problems, he can either fix it or scheme around it to at least lessen the negative impact. So they'll be much better, I think, in that regard. Now, I don't know how good they're going to be in other regards. I did, ask my friend Scott Rabelais of the Baton Rouge Advocate, to give me a little bit of input so I could have a more educated opinion on what some of their issues are.
I know in your story you wrote that perhaps the biggest area of concern is, are they going to be able to run the ball?
Tyrion Davis Price, he went to the NFL. They lost a bunch of offensive linemen.
And the offensive line wasn't very good
last year. Wasn't that good? So maybe that's good, maybe it's not. Now they're thinking John Emery, who was ineligible last year, he's going to be eligible, and he was a 5-star guy coming out of high school, but he's really not done much in 2 years. Now you could say, well, it's because he's behind Clyde Edwards-Hilaire or Tyrion Davis Price or whatever. But the bottom line is you're really expecting a lot from a guy that hadn't produced yet. Doesn't mean he won't. But they do have probably the best receiver in the SEC, in Keyshawn Boutte.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I just like his name, Boutte.
We just don't know who's going to be throwing him the football because Max Johnson's gone. Miles Brennan coming back from injury, but there's a battle there.
And here's the thing about Miles Brennan, and he may be outstanding. I keep hearing how good he is. But go back, he's only played like 4 or 5 games in his career. And a couple of years ago before he got hurt, he's always hurt. A couple of years ago before he got hurt, he was, I guess that was 2020. He was, putting up some big numbers. But when you see the 3 teams he played, they were 2 of them were among the worst in the nation in pass defense, like Missouri, Vanderbilt. So of course he should be putting up big numbers. It's like getting excited when Nick Starkel threw for 400 yards against New Mexico. What does that really tell you? So I do think, I'm not saying that the kid can't be good. I just think that you're still, if you're excited on a guy based on what he did against Vanderbilt, you got to see more. Yeah. And then they got the kid coming in from Arizona State, Jaden Daniels.
Let's start off with the softballs and go like pro sports.
Okay.
All right, so what's your favorite sport to watch pro? Is it NFL? Is it NBA? Which is it?
Yeah, most definitely NFL.
Okay, so let's talk NFL. You have a favorite team? Is it the Chiefs?
No, I don't have a. That's
Not the Chiefs.
No, I don't have a favorite team.
Okay. I figured for sure you'd be a Chiefs guy or I guess the Rams.
If I had to pick a team to be my team, I'd probably go with the Rams because that's my grandma's favorite team. So.
Yeah, back when they were the St. Louis Rams.
She a diehard Rams fan, so I'd probably go with the Rams.
Was that? No, that was L.A. I'm trying to think of Kurt Warner, where they were still St. Louis when they won it. Yeah. A former trivia for you, former A&M safety, Rich Cody, third-round draft pick. He was at that point. He ended up being a starting DB, but at that point he was ran down on the opening kickoff rookie year in the Super Bowl. Kurt Warner and Isaac Bruce and those guys. But that was he was a safety at A&M, Big 12 champ.
That's great.
Running down on the opening kick of a Super Bowl a year later, yeah.
I ain't know that.
So all right. So NFL, let's talk safeties.
Okay.
Right now today, either favorite or best safeties in the NFL.
Safeties, I gotta go. Probably Derwin James.
Yeah.
I like him. Jamal Adams. Third. Probably Buda Baker. Yeah.
Is there a safety in the NFL that you watch that you kind of go, I could see myself being that style of player either now or in a couple of years when I'm at that level?
I like how Derwin James play, but I kind of like to play like Jalen Ramsey.
Yeah.
Like that's who I think like versatile, can play anywhere you put him.
Yeah, he can.
Yeah, so that's what I try to like model my game out there.
And probably from everything I was hearing, it's funny because even this week I saw some snips on like Reels or something where they're talking about it. But the best trash talker in the NFL. My question is, you're so quiet here. Do you ever talk any trash during the games? You do?
When I'm on the field, I'm a different person.
Yeah.
But I don't let it take me out of my game. But sometimes, the game gets to you.
Yeah.
A few words get exchanged. Yeah, for sure.
Who's the biggest talker in game on y'all's defense? Whether it was from this past season, even if they're gone, or on the team now?
Ooh, probably Brian George.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
He got that South Florida swag. Like BG be on the field talking too much.
Okay, I like it. Somebody's got to, right?
No, for sure. Brian George, and then another one, probably Damani.
Yeah.
Damani
does.
Yeah, Damani talk a lot of trash on the field.
It's great to be coming to you live from Big Ten country. Yeah, I mean, West Lafayette, Iowa City, Los Angeles. I mean, these are just the iconic Big Ten, small towns that we all grew up with. It was crazy. I had kind of forgotten it happened last Thursday with the holiday. It feels like it happened a month ago, and I haven't been on with you guys since. So yeah, last time I came on, I was sitting here in Pac-12 country. Now I'm in Big Ten country, and I was telling your guy before I came on. I remember 4 or 5 years ago when I started coming on with Gabe. I used to kind of just take off the summer because there really was never anything to talk about. A few weeks after March Madness, and then we pick up around SEC Media Days. And now it's like the last 2 or 3 summers, every single week, there is something new. I don't know if it's good or bad for college sports, but it's the reality. And here we are as I sit here again in Big Ten country, all that stuff. So.
That voice you hear, that is Aaron Torres of Fox Sports Radio and the Aaron Torres podcast, joining us via the BCSI Associates phone line. And AT, you mentioned it last Thursday. Perhaps the news I don't think anybody expected. USC, UCLA going to be the 15th and 16th members of the Big Ten. Incredible. What was your reaction when that news broke?
Well, first of all, I'll tell you this, Richard. When you say nobody expected it, I know people inside the USC athletic department, and like with a lot of these big decisions, they weren't there was, I can't say a definitive number, but 3-4 people maybe that were privy to these conversations. I mean, a lot of the prominent people, assistant coaches, high-ranking administrators, they found out like the rest of us did via social media, whatever it was, about probably 1:00 Central Time. What I would say, what was my reaction, Richard? The best way that I heard it described, I heard Brady Quinn, who works at Fox Sports Radio, say this, is he was surprised but not shocked. And that's where I am now, is that with all these realignment moves, really the analogy that I keep using on my podcast, Texas, it's like the old Neil Armstrong. Texas was one small step. USC, UCLA is one giant leap for college sports. And so once the Texas-Oklahoma stuff happened, I think we all thought something would be coming down the line at some point. Now, we didn't know if it was going to come from ACC country, from what was then Pac-12 country. And, now that I think about it, maybe we should have been more expecting something. Obviously, the Big Ten contract's coming up soon. The Pac-12 contract is up in 2024, which is why this move was made now. But, of course, I was shocked, but I wasn't stunned. I've been doing this now for 10, 12 years, and so many moves have been made during that time that nothing really surprises me at this point. I do think there's probably more coming down the pike here, if not within the next few weeks, the next few months, maybe the next year or two. But I surprise, not shock, I think is the best way to put it, Richard. I really do. 3
impact newcomers, not just freshmen, newcomers for Jimbo Fisher and the Aggies this fall.
Okay. Could very well be Max Johnson. That's TBD. We'll wait. So I'll leave him out of that for now. That one goes without saying if he ends up becoming your starting quarterback. I'd almost include him as – I'm going to make him separate because I want to name 3. There's so many. You would almost include him too if he's QB2. We saw last year how important that is. And so I think Max is actually just – going to sit there at the top spot regardless.
He's kind of in a league of his own.
I'm going to read you the other 3. Impact newcomers. I'll start with Evan Stewart. I think Evan Stewart, you saw the video the other day where Jonte Cook was talking about Jimbo's offense. I hate when recruits get caught up in this game that these idiot fans get caught up in, and I mean idiots. When I'm talking about the Twitter fans, I'm not talking about all Longhorn fans, but the Texas Twitter fans or OU or even A&M. We've got our share too that'll do this, but this whole thing. But when the recruit feeds off of it and starts playing to it, and the Aggies have they've had guys that have done that, and I've joked around and talked to Leon about it, where he was when he was a recruit, So Jonte is caught up in that, and he's talking trash to Evan Stewart. I would be interested to make a wager with myself that Evan Stewart's true freshman season is better than whatever he puts together. I think Evan's a better prospect. I think Evan's elite prospect. I think Cook's really good. Cook's worthy of 5-star, but I think Evan is another level. Evan has come in and looked better than any receiver I've seen come in as a true freshman. What I'm hearing, what I've seen, what he had on tape coming in. Christian Kirk was spectacular. What I like the most about Evan Stewart is I have heard very similar things about him and Christian in terms of their polish and their work ethic and their willingness to learn. And that's why Christian had such an impact as a true freshman. Not going to be in the same offense. I get that. And there's a reason people make the comments they do. A&M's going to run the football. Tight ends are going to catch the ball. But Evan Stewart's going to be an impact player, both down the field and in the short passing game, because he's going to take little things and turn them into first downs and bigger plays than that even. So I think Evan Stewart has the most significant impact, 1. Number 2, I'm going to go again. I'm going to stick with the just kind of right there in front of you, maybe the top 2 players in the class. I'm going to go Walter Nolan because I just think, and they've got some depth inside. They really do. I mean, Isaiah Rakes, people don't talk about enough. McKinley Jackson is going into year 3 was a borderline 5-star coming out, and it's played really well. He was hurt last year, played hurt. Now he's healthy. They've got a lot on the defensive interior, but I just think Walt Nolan, he's come in, he's in shape, which is always important for a big man, and he came in great shape. I think he's going to hit the ground running and be a pretty dominant force pretty early.
Thanks so much for checking us out. If you've listened and watched this long, make sure you like this video, comment on this video, and subscribe to TexAgs YouTube page and texags.com/premium and texags.com/stacked to get all of the content that we offer here. Thanks so much. I guess I'll be here tomorrow maybe. We'll see who else joins me, but we'll talk to you on Friday.